I'm not a racist, preach the teacher. You still they never had this. Number one, them wanna run about the gun. I wasn't licensed to have one. The minute they see me, fear me. I'm the epitome, a public enemy. Use, abuse, without clues. I refuse to blow fuse. They even had it on the news. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Back when I wrote y'all, yes.
All right, let me play this Mehdi Hasan. Do you know who Mehdi Hasan is?
Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're playing. Yes.
So he was on Abby Phillip, and shame on the CNN bookers and the whole entire platform. Shame on y'all. Y'all suck. But they had a panel, had a bunch of people on there because there are no two sides at this point. You bringing on somebody that is openly racist and and at this point we can equate Trump support with being openly racist, openly, anti everybody. So he's on there and gets into this conversation with Mehdi Hasan, and he says, well, maybe I just hope your beeper doesn't go off, because Mehdi Hasan is, defending Palestinians or whatever, and, calling this guy out, and he didn't like it. So, and he had that as a prepared remark, right? So CNN had to release a statement. We are not going to have him back on. I did not know that Mehdi Hasan walked off after that. I did not know that he left and didn't come back because I don't watch CNN, so I don't know that. But this is what he said. He addressed it today. I think the comments came out. Play it, Smith. Clip one.
I have interviewed, debated, sparred with controversial, opinionated, offensive people from across the world, sitting presidents and prime ministers, former directors of the CIA and Mossad, Trump officials, Biden officials, a Netanyahu spokesman, a Hamas spokesman, an IRA leader, Vivek Ramaswamy. But never in my 25 years as a journalist and 15 years of doing live TV have I been so stunned by what was said to me that I had to walk off set in the middle of a live show, as I did on Monday night on CNN in New York when this happened.
If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing...
You're called an
anti-Semite
more than anyone else's table.
Yeah.
And people will sit there and... No, by me. I never called you an anti-Semite. Okay. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying...
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that...
Did you just say I should die?
You should not...
No,
Did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
Hold on.
Did your guest just say I should be killed on live TV?
Yes, that was far-right pundit Ryan Gadusky reacting to me saying I support Palestinians by basically inciting violence against me, suggesting I might be blown up in the way that Hezbollah members and Lebanese civilians were blown up via their beepers by Israel in what the former CIA chief Leon Panetta called a clear terrorist attack. That's what Gadusky casually suggested might happen to me. J.D. Vance associate Ryan Gadusky, Trump supporter Ryan Gadusky. Because in his head, when he hears Palestinian, he hears Hamas. When he sees a Muslim in front of him, he sees Hamas. Now, he and his right-wing friends are saying, I called all Republicans Nazis, which, of course, they didn't. Although apparently white supremacist Richard Spencer claims Gadusky used to write for him. What I did say was that if you don't want to be called a Nazi, don't say Nazi-like things, as was said at the Trump rally in New York on Sunday. Jews are cheap, black people like watermelons, Muslims are terrorists. And this guy's response to that was to imply I'm a terrorist who might be killed by Israel. A line that wasn't a joke and that he almost certainly came pre-prepared with, thinking he could get away with it on live national television. That's how bold these MAGA Republicans have become with their racism. That's the permission structure Trump and Vance have created with the help of some in our media who've just happily platformed it.
That part.
It's the gap.
Yeah. That part, that last part, the happily platforming, the hiring of a Corey Lewandowski or who was the woman that was the head of the RNC that was a liar, and so many others, because in their minds, you're telling us there's no line, there's no integrity, there's no due north. As long as we can have a quote unquote opposing view, we're going to give them money. Like, you get good money to be a contributor on CNN and MSC. I know for a fact. So how do we reverse this? Because this is the problem, and media has to have a standard for what we consume because they're the gatekeepers of consumption.
The money's in the way. Everybody's trying to get a check. So the money's in the way. So the media's putting on what they got to put on so they can get the advertisers so they can get a check, so they can pay the people to come on so they can get a check. Like the money's in the way. It goes back to that. Like it pays to be, to gaslight, because the part of it that he didn't say is he said, "Oh, I thought you said Hamas." I'm like, but Hamas wasn't whose pages were exploding. So you couldn't have possibly thought that's what I said. You know what you're talking about, So it's like it's the money. It's the money. I don't know how to turn that off. I think, we could do a whole segment on capitalism, but it's the funding. Things have moved to a place where everything is about putting money in someone's pocket. And it all comes back to like this, same set of folks. We're all feeding that machine. And so they are doing anything necessary to generate discussion and clicks and attention and blah, 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 so that you can continue to fund the machine, so we can continue to thrive. And even though this is not really thriving. So I don't know how you turn it off. Turn the money off. I don't know. I don't know.
I always say, you create the world that you want to live in, right? You should create the world you want to live in. I sit here every day, and I came into Urban View intentionally with no paycheck, not on staff, not on salary, because the audience had to be fed, right? So Karen Hunter made no money, out of pocket, 6 months in, because unfortunately I had other jobs, right? So it was a conscious decision to come in, to not do radio, to create a community, to feed people every day and see what happens.
Yeah.
Advertisers come, they go, we have advertisers. That's how we pay everybody who here working with us. But, first weeks, it was like Rush Card. No, never doing Rush Card. Wells Fargo. Nope, never doing Wells Fargo. Didn't they contribute to our debate? Yeah, not doing that, but you're not making any money. Okay, well, fortunately, I have a full-time job and a pension. I'm good,
Yeah.
So I can come here and do these things with intention. But yeah, you're right. It is a sacrifice. I'm not being like, oh, a martyr or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see, could we create something,
Right.
build a big enough audience that now, and the only problem now is we can't prove that we have a big audience, so people don't even believe it. But we'll come around.
It takes the willingness to understand that it's not just about you, because that's the other thing, is everybody is just focused on their own income, their own paycheck, their own visibility, their own whatever. I do a podcast. It costs me several $1,000s to do, and it's free. You can go listen for free. I literally do free classes on LinkedIn. The classes I go do in the big corporations for free. I do a micro version, so like, there are those of us who understand that like accessibility to the information is so important that we will put ourselves in the position to say, I don't have to profit from every single thing that I touch, but we don't have enough. I don't know if that message isn't spreading enough. I don't know if it's the parenting, but people aren't getting that. So they're just like, more money. What do we have to do to get that? Whatever that looks like.
I feel like people also have to see that come to fruition. So 10 years in, it's Clay, it's Laree, it's Reese, it's, like you've watched something, if you were here from the beginning, grow into all of these folk now with platforms and best-selling books and doing the things and the game cards and the moments of gratitude. And like we have been able to build the community and build our own community because we feed people every day. And that's the exchange. If I feed you, if I give you seed, I want some of your harvest, please at least offer. You got tomatoes. Okay, let's go. And if we all are benefiting from a relationship, because I'm not saying it shouldn't be a little bit of transaction, right? Your friendships, you shouldn't be the one that your friends call and pour into you and they never ask you how you're doing. That's a bad friendship. Good friendships, everybody's flourishing, right? So this has to be the way forward. And I wanted to see if it could work. And I think it can. And I think it should be the model. And if you're not engaged with content and you're getting something from it other than some entertainment, something, deeper that helps you build a better life, then you should not invest your time and energy into it. And definitely not your money.
Yeah.
Definitely not. So I'm grateful.
People are hoarding. They're hoarding whatever, as much as I can get my hands on. And I don't want to have to contribute. I want to contribute as little as possible and take as much as I possibly can. And that hoarding mentality is what is creating this machine. It's entertainment. To his point, he probably prepared it ahead of time and was like, I'm gonna drop this, because it's gonna give me clicks and views. And then shortly after wrote a Medium like post about what to do if you get banned from a cable news station. And I'm like, this is so
he was
gaslighting.
ready. Oh,
Yes. Yes.
okay.
Oh, and
All
by the
right.
way, to read the article, you gotta pay.
Pay for it.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That's I knew we were going to have a problem when Joe Wilson yelled, "You lie," at President Barack Obama and had so many dollars, so many donors send him money. He raised millions of dollars. We didn't even know who that man was.
Yeah.
Raised millions of dollars because he was doing something you wouldn't let your 5-year-old do.
Right.
I was like, that's a problem.
Right.
That's a problem. And I don't know if we can come back from that.
We don't have the requirement of respect anymore. We don't hold people accountable to behaving a certain way. What I did appreciate in that moment on CNN is that they were like, I'm sorry, what was that again? Because I'm sure what you didn't say was, right? It wasn't a glossed over moment. It was very like, no.
Oh, Medhi wasn't letting it. And then Ashley,
the
young lady, Ashley sitting next to him was like, you ain't say it to me, but I was offended. You know, so we have to be offended. And so Medhi went on, he gave like a 5-minute, this was a 5-minute clip. I'm not playing the whole thing, but he went on to talk about Ashley standing up for him and Black women standing up, always standing up. He like doubled down on that. I was like, yes, Medhi, you know. And but I wanted to play the second part because he said something that I want to deal with a little bit as well. Play the second clip, Smith.
If Harris wins next week, it'll be partly because of her fellow black women holding that line. And if she loses, and to be clear, because of her refusal to budge even an inch on Gaza, Harris morally deserves to lose. We will get a Trump presidency, a white supremacist presidency, an anti-black, anti-Semitic, Islamophobic presidency, in which people like the bigot I had to deal with on CNN will be emboldened like never before. They won't just be running their mouths on TV panels against public figures like me. They'll be at your kid's school gate. They'll be at your grocery store. They'll be in your subway car, proudly and shamelessly saying this stuff to you, too. They'll also be in charge of US foreign policy, egging on Israel to do more beeper attacks, even more acts of terror, egging on Trump and Vance to be more racist, more violent, both at home and abroad.
Yeah. You know, it's the complexity. You know what I'm saying? And like, I just don't think that many of us are doing a good job at having people hold the complexity, because this entire situation in the Middle East is complex and it is difficult. And I am not pleased with the way leadership is handling it. There's a lot. I don't know a lot of people in general who are pleased on either side with the way that entire situation is being handled. But like, you still have to handle the thing that's in front of you. Like, I do want to hold people accountable. I do want you to behave in the way that I can, but like, we cannot be willing to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We cannot decide, I am going to toss this aside because it is now unimportant because of this one thing that is a hugely important, impactful thing, but I'm going to literally hurt myself to actually create it. You're still not going to solve that. It's still not going to get resolved.
My days are cooler. Nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.